finals week at Quincy University as the largest freshman class since 1992 prepares to wrap up their first semester. School officials say they're seeing lasting effects, though, from the pandemic, but there is something being done to ensure success. In News Since 5, we hear from some freshmen about how they're coping with college life. WGEM's Dylan Smith reports.
When Alexis Stuffelbeam was a sophomore in high school, everything changed. Nearly 3 years later, she's readjusting to the standard education setting, but at a collegiate level.
In the middle of the semester, I just wanted to go talk to someone. It was getting into that season of school was finally hitting in.
And readjusting wasn't easy. That's why she sought the assistance of someone who could help keep her on track mentally.
Students at Quincy University sometimes call us their QU moms because they like to stop in and tell us what's going on in their world.
Sadia Ali Ashman is one of the 3 success coaches at the university. She says each coach sees up to 12 students per day, helping students with
everything. How am I doing? How is classes?
Junior Izani is another freshman who regularly sees a success coach. It helps him stay on track in the classroom.
When COVID hit, we were basically taking everything online, and I can't deal with online things. It was a really struggle for me.
And while the reasons for those who seek coaching include academic and emotional support, Ashman says the number of students the team sees has skyrocketed since 2020.
We're dealing with the fallout. The anxiety levels have increased dramatically.
But having someone to talk to can make all the difference.
I just was able to have a conversation with them that was nice, and I was able to talk about how I was feeling, and we made a plan for me to continue my schoolwork.
Dylan Smith, WGEM News, Quincy.
And 307 freshmen are enrolled this semester, and that's up 33% from last school year. And Ashman says they sometimes see more than 100 students per week.